Welcome back to SaharaTV. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. Today is a historical day in Nigeria, whichever way you look at it. We were supposed to be looking at a week before an election. As of this time, we're not sure if that election is taking place. By all indications, it's likely not to be. Again, today we had additional evidence in support of an amazing video and audio of how the election in Ekiti State was rigged. And all this have put the country at a very high political tension. We have interviewed several people today on our show. We interviewed, most importantly, the captain, Captain Coley, who recorded the video in question. And I hope you've been all watching our show. This is a Skype call segment when we now give you the chance to join us and let us share your own opinion on what we've been showing you. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo, and with me in the studio here is Dr. Wumi Akintide. Dr. Wumi, welcome to SaharaTV.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We are going to talk to our Skype callers, but before we do that, I want to start with you. When you think about today, the ups and downs and the dynamics of the political situation in Nigeria, how do you rate it? How do you quantify or classify it?
I think Nigeria is in a very precarious situation right now, from the uncertainty coming out of the preparation for the election, which is just 1 week away, that we are not even sure at this moment, 1 week away to the election, whether we're going to really hold the election or not. It's part of the anxiety that makes people feel that the Jonathan government has failed.
Now, this is what we know. They had a Council of State meeting where Jega made a presentation and he said he was ready for the election next Saturday. During that meeting, the people present, the former heads of states and governors, they asked him to go and consult and make the decision. Now, between yesterday and today, he had a meeting, several meetings, one of them with the commissioners, returning commissioners of INEC. And out of the 37 commissioners, 21 said they were in favor of the election going on, and 16 said they were not. Also, we know that he met with civil society groups. At this point, the whole nation, in fact, the rest of the world, they are waiting for Jega to make the final call, whether the election will go on or not. Now, his decision is based on one thing. What we understand is that the security agencies, the military, the police, are saying that they won't be able to guarantee security for an election happening on Saturday this coming week. Does that sound to you as reason to postpone an election that we've been preparing for many, many years?
Well, it sounds to me like a reason to postpone the election, but let's go back a little bit. When the military, the man at the top of our military, advised INEC that he could not guarantee that there will be security for this election. Now, we have two operations going on from what we can see from the video that you refer to. I'm sure when the Ekiti governorship election was held, there were two groups of law enforcement people involved. One was one in which the INEC itself, Professor Jega, was very much involved. And then there was a secret one, which met in a private place at an hotel, unknown to Jega, to plan their own. And since they did that in Ekiti, and they were going to do it in Osun, I am sure the biggie is the election we're supposed to have on February 14th. So I'm sure with that kind of connection, they are preparing for the secret bargaining, and then they are preparing for the official one. How could they even have enough to really supervise this election? So I can understand where the head of the military is coming from, because there's a division within the military. There's the political military and there's the official military. And this is really not looking good for Nigeria. The prognosis is not good, as they say in medical parlance. This is really terrible.
Now, let's assume that the election is postponed for another 6 weeks, which is what they are proposing now. Do you think that that will change, 6 weeks will change the political dynamics of things?
I believe that the whole scenario is going to be repeated. In 6 weeks, when they come together again, if this postponement is not opposed by anybody, nobody does anything, you can be sure that in 6 weeks, there will come another excuse that they haven't had enough time, and they will be calling for more time. In any case, we know that after April, or maybe May, Professor Jaga's contract will be ending. And then they will have a reason to say, oh, his contract has just ended, and therefore we need a new man on the saddle who can understand the situation before we can hold the election. So I'm sure that the 6 weeks promise is just an empty promise. To all intents and purposes, I believe that this election is really cancelled. And why is it cancelled? That is because for the first time in Nigerian history, the opposition seems to pose a threat to the sitting government. And President Jonathan, unless he's deaf or dumb, he has to know by now that the prognosis is not looking good for him. And therefore, the only thing he can do was to find a way to really stop the momentum, because he knows that the opposition, they are really focused on winning this election.
Now let's look at this, because I know that the Constitution will not allow them to move this election any further than six weeks. Because they have to hand over on May 29th, or they have to swear in the same president on May 29th. If they go anything beyond that, 30 days beyond May 29th, there will be a constitutional crisis. So let's assume that they won't do that. Okay. I want you to tell me, what advantage will the government in power have now if they have 6 weeks to prepare for an election?
Yes, they have, especially, first of all, I have to thank Sahara reporters for bringing out that video, audio that you talk about, for the whole world to see. Now, if that was what they were planning before the breaking news on this video came out, now they know now that it has now become open. They have to regroup. And so they need time to be able to regroup and replan. So, and maybe 6 weeks, they think that 6 weeks will be enough for them to regroup and recalibrate. Yes.
Now let's talk about the audio, the recordings done at Spotless Hotel.
Yes.
This is where you have Governor Governor Fayose and Obanikoro,
right,
and the rest, planning on how they were going to rig the election. What were you surprised?
I'm not at all surprised, because, and that's why I'm worried about this president. Here is a president surrounded by hoodlums. People, you can even call them criminals, because most of the people we are talking about have cases pending against them in court. Fayose has a criminal case pending against him in court. Iyola Omishore has one. In fact, the Bola Ige saga was still on. And Obanikoro was a very, very controversial figure. He made him Minister of Defense at that time. And he used his position as Minister of Defense to influence things. And because he wanted to run for governorship of Lagos State, he had to resign. But because as soon as he lost the governorship race to Wumi Akintide, this same president quickly reappointed him and put him back again in defense, so that he could go there and do his dirty business for him. That is what we have seen. I know Spotless Hotel in Ado-Ekiti. Well, that's the right name for it, Spotless. It has to be spotless, really. What other name can you give it? That people can go there, hide somewhere there to do all the planning that we saw, that God actually revealed. So I believe the great Lord is still in control, because the mere fact that this kind of video will come out before the election is something remarkable. And the mere fact that we have somebody who was attending that meeting, who had enough gumption to go to that meeting with a video, with a recording device, to get everything I'm talking about Captain Sagi Kohli, who is the winner, is the saint in all of this now. Because, but for him, nobody will know. I mean, anybody who sees President Jonathan going to Holy Ghost camp, kneeling down before Pastor Adeboye all the time, and the wife going to Enugu Catholic Parish to kneel before Reverend Father Mbaka.
She was sitting down.
Oh, she was sitting down? Oh, okay, she was sitting down. Now, these people, they wanted to give a facade that we are religious people. That's why we go to church and so on. But behind that facade, we now know what is happening. In fact, I seize this opportunity. I don't know whether Nigerians are going to support it. I seize this opportunity for the president to come out and deny whether or not what took place at Ekiti was actually authorized by him. Because left to me alone, and if it's in a decent society, I think we have enough reason to impeach the president if he cannot come out with any excuse to actually allow it.
Before we talk about impeaching the president, the governor, current governor, is saying that the whole thing didn't happen. And Obanikoro, all of them are denying. And we've not seen, even regular people, after we interviewed the captain who recorded it, regular people are saying that this did not happen, that this is all. So we have to start with the people, because if there's no pressure from the people at the top are not going to do anything about the situation.
Yes, Rudolph. That's because the government knows that Nigerians' shock absorber for nonsense is limitless. That's why they are doing all of this. How anybody can come out and say that that video and audio does not exist, I cannot for the life of me understand that. But who does not know Fayose? The two people who were the major characters presiding over that national planning. They were Ayo Fayose himself, Iyola Omishore, and then Obanikoro, and then with the Brigadier General Momo, and the captain, and the other Caleb, who was a civilian among them. So the whole thing was, in fact, it was like the Omo Boriowo Ondo State rigging of election, repeated all over. Because I knew I was in government when that happened. And at that time, too, they had a civilian, Ali Baloye, from Ado-Ekiti, who was picked from the federal government to represent the civilian in planning the rigging of that election.
All right, we're going to go to our Skype callers. We'll come back and get your input into some of these things. We'll go to our Skype callers because we have them waiting patiently. We want them to be involved in this discussion. And the first person we have here is Mohammed in Texas. Mohammed, welcome to Sahara TV. Mohammed, are you there? Okay, it seems as if we don't have Mohammed right now. The next person we have is Bishop in UK. Bishop, welcome to Sahara TV.
Well, God bless you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much, Rudolph. How are you doing?
Good. Adebi, welcome to Sahara TV.
Yes, I'm here, Rudolph.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Do we have Mohammed? No? Mohammed?
Yes, we have.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm here, Rudolph.
Okay, you have a delay. Okay. But you're in Texas. How should that be? Okay, but anyway, Mohammed, I want to start with you. And I want to know if you were able to watch our interview with Captain Kohli. Were you?
Yes, I was able to watch that interview. It's such a pathetic situation.
So
it's such a really pathetic situation. And as a retired military officer, I realized that there is no lies. There is no way that that captain would be able to form lies that rhyme the way it rhymed. I believe 100% in what that officer said that happened. So I think, just like what somebody was saying, that it's enough time that Nigerians should wake up and ask the president to come and account for his actions. Because it is so unfortunate if Nigeria of 2015 is in a democratic setting and they are using the army to be able to rig and perpetuate all the kind of gross indiscipline that we are seeing. You know, like I told you about the last time we had our discussions, corruption is the bane of our major problems. If this corruption is not tackled, Nigeria cannot go further.
Now, Mohammed, one question that most of our viewers have been asking is, what happened to the Nigerian military? How come that these people could virtually humiliate a General Momo, and threaten him and get him to do everything that they wanted him to do. How did that happen? You were in the military. Is that the kind of army we have now? Okay, I think we have a serious delay with
Yes, I'm
Mohammed.
here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Mohammed, go ahead. All right, I think we have to go to other of our Skype callers, and we'll come back to Mohammed. Bishop.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your take on this security situation? What we are all watching and listening to?
Well, like Mohammed, once again, thank you for having me, and thank you for the great opportunity to speak my opinion when it comes to the issue of Nigeria. It's sad, like Mohammed was saying earlier on, and it's so pathetic at this century that the military that are supposed to be the eyeball, eagle eye, when it comes to security, they are the one that the government is using to perpetrate evil. One wonder if this continue, where is the state of security in Nigeria? We are talking about Boko Haram. We are talking about Boko Haram. If the government can use the military to perpetrate and rig election, where is the situation? Where is the security to ordinary Nigeria? It is sad and it's pathetic. What has happened in a state, I believe if care is not taken, this is going to replicate in the forthcoming general election, which it will be very pathetic, and we don't know where to go from here. Thank you. That's my take.
Thank you so much, Bishop. Adebi, what is your take? How did you view this, and are you confident about the upcoming election, being that something like this happened not long ago?
Well, I'm not going to be confident in the forthcoming election because there is nothing to be confident about. Because the election has been compromised before it's been conducted.
Yeah, that's
There
true.
is no way we can have a free and fair election in the country.
Yeah.
Because the military, as it used to be in the past, has always been part of the rigging machinery for the ruling political party. Even we cannot exonerate the opposition party in the process of using the military to rig elections in their various states. But the situation we are today is so alarming, is so terrifying to the extent that people like us just believe the ruling political party is so desperate to make sure that they do not lose grip of power at the center, because I could foresee a lot of them going to jail. So the best they could do is to bring in some of this machinery, the military machinery, to get things done for them. But we are so happy that the general was able to come out and expose this madness. It's been going on for years. And when you look at the totality of the personalities involved, you don't want to doubt this. Obanikoro is involved. We knew his antecedents. The other guys involved, Ayo Fahishe is involved. We knew his antecedents. It's never going to change. And the other guy who was part of, quote and unquote, personality mentioned in the death of late Bola Ige, Jelili, is it? I don't know. The other is also involved in this crisis. So when you begin to take a stock of the personalities who were involved in this national meeting, then you just conclude it was real. And I did an analysis of the tape myself. I listened to the tape 4 times. I did a content analysis of the tape, and I look at the flow of the discussion. And it's very typical of national political meetings, especially for those people who have been able to attend such in the past. I've attended a meeting with Ayo Shutokun when he was going to bring Obasanjo to the University of Lagos. During my days as the student president of the University of Lagos, it was this kinds of environment that I witnessed. And it was the same thing that played out in the video of Ekiti. So I wasn't surprised about what happened, particularly looking at what I've experienced in the past. And I believe that where Nigeria is ripe for revolution, and I just hope that the elections are conducted free and fair, or else I'm still insisting we are going to go the way of Arab Spring, because the situation in the country is so tense to the extent that people are aware that the PDP is desperate to retain power at the center. And there are no two ways to the solution to the problem at hand other than to allow the elections to be conducted free and fair. The military has been compromised all along. We've read about the military saying that they are going to stage an attack against Boko Haram come next week Saturday. Then then common sense should prevail that why is it that they could not stage the attack against Boko Haram 2 months ago, 3 months ago? Why is it that it's on the day of a national election that they want to stage such an attack? And that tells you that what we've heard in the video is true.
All right.
Because if the military is coming over to jeopardize the election, they will just conclude everything is true.
All right, Debbie, hold on. Okay, we'll come back to you. Let me hear Mohammed. I think he's back. Mohammed, are you there? Mohammed, are you there? Okay, I think Mohammed.
Yes.
Are you there?
I
Okay, I think we lost him again. But when
Yes,
we
I'm
get
here.
okay, go ahead, Mohammed. Go ahead.
Yes. What these two callers have been talking about is the fact.
Okay, Mohammed is lost again. The connection. We will get him again. But let me ask you, what does this do for the reputation of Nigerian military? It appears as if they are really under attack everywhere. One is they couldn't handle the Boko Haram issue. We had to bring African soldiers to come and help. The election that was supposed to happen this coming Saturday, they are saying they can guarantee security. And now we have a military officer in the level of a general involved in rigging of an election. What does this all say or do to their reputation?
It says a lot about the reputation of the military. Number one, I would say the reputation is in tatters right now. But it's not just the military. What of the reputation of Christian pastors? It's in shreds right now, at this moment. I myself, I happen to be a member of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. I'm actively reconsidering my membership of that church, really. You know, because some of these things going on, they are just too repulsive to me. Now, Rudolph, you probably don't know this about me before. You are speaking to a man who was Assistant Secretary in charge of Army Matters at the Army Headquarters in Nigeria, at Republic Building in Lagos, from 1968 to 1970. I was AS, Assistant Secretary, the administrator in charge of Army Matters. And I worked with Muritala Muhammad, who was the chairman of the panel for the recruitment of Army officers. I am ashamed of what has happened to our military. Now, I'm happy that Muhammad was a retired officer in the military who is participating in this program. And I hear loud and clear what you have just said. The military has never been so tarnished. It has never been tarnished. I could almost weep to see this happen. But that's where we are. Now, what I want to tell you is that everything is totally messed up for Nigeria. You know, because, all right, we're talking about the Council of State. When you have a one-party dictatorship, and you've had a one-party dictatorship for almost maybe 38 years out of 54 years of independence. When you have a one-party dictatorship, it means that whoever emerges as the president comes from only one party. So when that person retires, he becomes a member of the Council of State. So in actual fact, most of the people attending the Council of State actually come from the same party, maybe with the exception of Ernest Chonekon, who was there just for an interim for 6 months or 3 months before he was dethroned. So all of them, apart from the military among them, they all came from the same party. That is the tragedy of Nigeria. And so, in fact, when they said Atahiru Jega was going to go to the Council of State to seek their mandate, to seek their views on whether to go ahead with the election or not, I just laughed. I just laughed. But they tried to maintain it because most of them who came from the military, Yakubu Gowon, Babangida, even though he had a part of the problem too, he caused most of the problem. Even Olusegun Obasanjo did not come there. And I think Muhammadu Buhari was there. And Abdul Salam Abubakar was also there. So they managed to cross that bridge and they said, okay, the election should continue. That it should still hold a week from now. But I'm telling you, Nigerians, don't be deceived. With what is happening now, I can't see a free and fair election taking place 1 week from today. It's not going to be possible. Nigeria is in a mess as we speak.
All right, we go to Skype callers again, and I want to. Okay. All right. I understand that the Skype callers are not ready anymore, so we will continue our conversation, and then I want to hear what should be done, because the conversations in Nigeria typically will go like this. We talk about it, we forget about it, and move on to the next thing, because by tomorrow there will be other stories playing out there. But what should be done about this Ekiti Gate, so-called Ekiti Gate? Should it die down, or should actions be taken, and who should take action?
Well, Rudolph, I don't think the video that we have just seen has opened a can of worms. It cannot die down unless we are idiots, to use the word of Pastor Tunde Bakari. Unless we are idiots, this thing cannot die down, because this is at the center of the survival of Nigeria right now. So, but what I see in all of this, and which concerns me and actually agonize me, is the fact that this is almost a subtle call to the military to really stage a coup right now. But then, the military cannot even do it for two reasons. Number one, international recognition is not there. They can no longer take that for granted, because nobody wants the military to take over. Even ECOWAS, on Organization for African Unity, they have a clause in their provision now which is against any military takeover in any country. That's number one. Number two, with all the things we are hearing about what the military has been doing, a Brigadier General, Momo, sat in that place because he got money and was planning to actually rig the election for the government in power. I am really shocked that this is happening. And then the president sat down in Abuja monitoring, because if you listen to the conversation of the people who participated in that session, they were taking time to call the president for additional guidance. It doesn't get any worse than this.
All right.
For Nigeria.
I think we have the video. We want to play a little bit of the video,
Yes.
of the audio of what we're talking about, and then we will come back and continue the discussion. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Don't talk too much. I want you to go and work and deliver for us. Look here.
Yes, sir.
You can't get promotion without me sitting on top of your military council.
Yes, sir.
If I'm a happy man tomorrow night, yes, the sky is your limit.
And at the end of the day,
And if I'm unhappy at the same time, I am not here for tea party. I'm here on assignment by the president.
So that when next time we want to ask somebody to go, it will be you.
We've come a long way.
There's another thing I want, a small thing I want to tell you.
So you
We
don't want me to look
anticipating.
bad.
We are anticipating tomorrow.
We cannot keep this man here.
They went to the same time.
Look for me. We can't keep this man here.
Let me tell you what is going on.
Definitely.
Let me tell you what.
Edugo now, Excellency. Edugo. We can't keep him here indefinitely. Now, he has said there's a team that, based on the instruction that is going on.
Can't you let me talk? How can he say that? Can't you let me talk? I'm not a small boy, sir. We agreed in Abuja on the modalities to work, and we agreed to a sticker. That any vehicle you see that sticker,
We allow that
they allow that sticker. That sticker is on those vehicles. His one was sent to him, mine was sent to me. The one for SSS was given to me to give to them, and we agreed. There's no vehicle that left this place without that sticker. The people you just disarm had that sticker on their bonnet, clear and clean. Listen to me, sir. Let me tell you what is going on here, sir. Today they went to a farm. They carry all the where we're supposed to be collecting. I think it was this man. They went where they're supposed to be collecting for our election. Wait, sir. The thing INEC gave to us, soft copy, we now printed everything. So that he now told me, because they see INEC thing on top of it, why is my contact man not with them? I said, our contact man will come and be sitting in the checkpoint with you permanently.
Who said that?
He told me.
No.
Let me answer. I convinced this man to leave these people. They were said to be left like this to be facing the sun. They packed all the computers. It took me more than 2 hours to get this man to release these people. We have been subjected to serious embarrassment.
Then what they told us, what they told us that the army has compromised.
They are compromised. So they are now disarming police too. That is what I want to work. They are disarming them. In my local government, my own local government today, the same thing.
No.
Today they were sharing money in the government house. I called them. People in government house who love us, taking pictures, how they were putting money in the plane. I called them, did everything. Instead, it's a wrong vehicle.
Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the tape that we've been talking about, Akintide. We're going to continue that discussion, but first of all, we want to go via Skype and speak to Said Abdullahi. He's the National Secretary of ADC, African Democratic Congress. He was at the meeting with the chairman of INEC today, where the discussion on whether to postpone the election will take place happened. So let's talk to him. Said, welcome to SaharaTV.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us. I want to know, briefly, can you tell us what happened at that meeting?
Well, we just had an invitation.
Yes, Mama.
All right. Said, can you go ahead? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Said, go ahead, please.
Yes. This morning we had a normal session. If there is anything INEC will do, it goes with the stakeholders, the political parties in Nigeria, civil society, and then others who are stakeholders. The chairman of the INEC is so magnanimous to go along with all those people that I've mentioned. So in Nigeria, we have almost 27 political parties registered present who are participating in this year's election. So the statement have just come, over the period of years, the INEC has prepared, this year's election. It's scheduled for 14th and then 28th of this month. But it may be all preparation were on deck. Everything agreed that there would be election. So it came that the first thing we had, about 68 million registered voters, 68 point something million voters has been registered and captured. And then we have initially, from the beginning, a temporary voter's card, which is meant to be substituted with a permanent voter's card. So INEC has put everything in place to produce this card. So they produced this card to replace the former temporary card. So, and PVC, we call it PVC now, permanent voter's card, to enable each and every Nigerian who is eligible to vote for this current year's election. So the statement came at a time of this distribution. INEC had some shortcomings. The shortcomings are from those who produce the PVC. We have discussed these issues, and then we've seen they are genuine. And then the INEC on its own have pressurized the producers. They were able to produce about 68 point something million voters cards. They have a shortfall of about 38.4 million voters cards, which they have to produce at a later stage from outside the country. So of which, the election body has agreed that it has some form of problem with it, and then it has overcome it. The national chairman did say, he's ready for the election, even with the minor adjustment that you will need for that election. But the problem still remains that so many out of those numbers he has made available by statistics, the number has been collected from various states and then local governments in Nigeria, that, all these cards that we are saying they are being produced and sent to various centers for collection, not all of them has been collected. So if we total the percentage of collection is about 46%. So 46% out of, 70 or 80 is significant that the 30% needs to be, anything above 30% will not be said that it's too credible for others, because we feel, some people have been disenfranchised. So,
okay, Said, let me interrupt you. Are you saying that the reason why the election is being postponed, or is being planned to postponement of this election, is because people are yet to get their cards from PVC? Is that what you're saying?
No, there are two issues.
Okay.
I was just explaining.
Okay.
The initial issues which all the political parties are saying that, people who are of votable age must collect their permanent voters card. So all of a sudden, there was a meeting of the National Council of State, which took place some 2 days back, 3. So it came up that, there was a request by the National Security Advisor advising INEC that he has discussed with all the service arms, the armed forces of Nigeria, Air Force, Police, Navy, what have you, and what have you. They are coming to say that, to conduct election under the atmosphere in the 4 northeast zones, namely Yobe, Borno, Adamawa, and other places, that it's not too feasible because of the action that is going on at the place now to wear it out, the insurgents. That means Boko Haram. So there are multinational forces now being introduced in that very corner of the country. And people who are actually displaced from such areas need to be included in those who have to vote for this very coming election. So efforts have been made to identify them. Those in camp, they have been sorted out so that, their permanent voter card will be given to them so that they will be able to vote. Because the policy of INEC is that if you don't have permanent voters card, the temporary voters card, you cannot use it. But the Council of State are coming out to say that, where there is this short lapses, it is not feasible for all there will be voters to vote with the PVC, that is the permanent voters card. For those who are disenfranchised, they are saying, the two should be worked hand in hand in some places. But INEC on its own, it says, the PVC that is providing for that election will weed out a lot of problems that is associated with rigging of election, malpractices, and so on. So that, Nigeria should have a credible election, because there is a chip embedded inside that card that will detect any fraud. So that is the basic consideration of the INEC chairman and the electoral body, that this time around they are going to use a card reader. A card reader will detect whether that the person who brought any other card for voting, which we call PVC, if it is a genuine one, it will recognize it.
Okay.
If it is a fraudulent one, it will detect it.
Okay, Mr.
So
Mr.
these two issues. Now, what is happening? We were talking in the first instance about, people should be allowed to get their PVC to vote. But now there is another security issue that, the service chief has advised the National Security Advisor that, they cannot provide adequate security in four states in the northeast corner of Nigeria.
Okay,
So
Mr. Abdullahi, I have to stop you. We really don't have a lot of time. But let me ask you, your party, are you in support of this postponement of the election?
Yes, we support postponement of election.
Okay.
Because the why we support this thing is to enable Jega to take decision. We give him, because on his own, he has been given two choices: whether to continue with the election or whether to consider the security situation in that very particular area. So for him, he has made up his mind to go along with that election. But to us, and most especially
Wait, hold on, Mr. Abdullahi, hold on. Are you saying that Jega
yes.
has made up his mind that the election is taking place on Saturday?
Yes, that is, the presentation with the meeting, the document we have before we reach such a decision before us is what he has discussed with the national, with the Council of State in such a meeting to buttress his point that he can conduct free and fair elections.
Yeah, hold on, Mr. Abdullahi. Let me get this right. Did he inform you and the people present at that meeting that he's going ahead with the election?
No.
Okay.
What he's saying, he wants to seek our own opinion because we are stakeholders in election. So as a political party, beside us, there are civil organizations that after our meeting, he will still conduct the same type of parley with them, hear from them before he made up his mind.
Okay.
Why not forcing him?
Right now, he has not made up his mind.
He has not made up his mind. It could be any moment from now after due consultation.
Okay, I have another question for you. Out of the 27 political parties, how many were in support of postponement and how many disagreed?
Well, there are two parties in abstention. One is present, but he's neutral. He don't want to be part of any discussion because,
What party was that?
It's National Conscience Party.
Okay.
Because the person there, the chairman in that respect, he is chairing, the Interparty Advisory Commission. So he cannot any way influence any other decisions. That he remain neutral.
Okay. So how many were in support and how many were opposed to postponement?
About 19 parties are in support. So about 6 they are not supporting.
Okay. Where was PDP?
Let me let you know that all the parties have given very good background of why they should support, extension. The extension cannot be what was actually required. 6 weeks was the requirement that they are asking for 6 weeks extension, but within the time frame of the Constitution, 30 days before a president is sworn into any elective office, you can conduct election. So we are suggesting 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks is adequate, not necessary 6 weeks.
Okay. Abdullahi, let me get this right. PDP,
yes.
Where was their position? Were they in support or opposed? In terms
PDP, PDP were in support. The representative was in support that extension of election should go ahead.
Okay. What about APC?
APC, they are in opposing camp.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So right now you are waiting to hear from Jega, the chairman of INEC.
Yes, the whole nation and the world, they are still waiting to hear from Jega.
Okay, one more question before we go, because we have to go. Are you confident that even if you give the maximum 6 weeks, that these things will be resolved? Or are we going to get to that point we say, oh, we still have security problems, we still have people without PVC, we're not going to have this election?
No. You see, the question of PVC, if it is extended, we believe that, it will be resolved. The question of PVC.
What about the one of security?
That of the security. That's why we don't want the guy to take 6 weeks. He should take anything less than 6 weeks. So that if it turns around the needed further extension, all political parties, majority will not agree.
Okay. All right. Mr. Abdullahi, I have to thank you so much for coming to give us update on what happened today.
Well, thank you so much.
All right.
Honor done to me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. When we come back, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have to discuss some of these things we just had. Yes, and we get our Skype callers too involved, because this is really fascinating. We'll be right back.
anyone that has been suspicious of